Thank you, Fabi, for tuning in. Uh, Thank you, Better, for tuning in. Yeah. Uh, Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning for tuning in, and thank you. If you just tune in, could you help to share so that we have many people joining us? Thank you, Ethan, for joining us. And if you just tune in, one thing that is important, just type below indicating where you are. It is very important that I understand where my broad audience are, and it helps me to know. And I want to thank all of you. And could you have the opportunity to share? It share helps us to thank you. I uh, if you're here in the United States, just indicate here in the United States. If you are in Europe, just indicate where you are in Europe. If you are in ground zero, just that's wonderful. Copenhagen, thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you. And if you just joining us, just indicate where you are. It helps us to understand where my broad audience are. Thank you, Bernard, for joining in. It is important, I know many of you are wondering what is happening, and that is what we will be talking about. I know I started yesterday and I have been talking about the issues, and I want to thank all of you to joining in. And here again, my name is Funton Daniel. I am speaking here from the great state of Texas, here in the United States. And if you are in ground zero, just indicate ground zero. If you are in Europe, if you are here in the United States, just indicate where you are in the United States. Remember that you can always get me live on my Facebook. You can get me live on my Twitter account. Twitter account is you can at Funton at FUTON 08. That's my thank you, Maria, for tuning in, and thank you for tuning in. And so glad that you able to join me. And you guys saw the horrible images that I posted on my Facebook this morning. That is what is going on. And remember that you can also get me on my YouTube. You can also subscribe to my YouTube as well. And you just type my complete name. I have my complete name on my YouTube. You can also, so those are other methods that you can also get me live. And thank you for taking off your time. Today's Friday. And so that's the issues we're going to be talking about this morning. And that's wonderful from Dubai. Thank you so much from Dubai. Uh, Thank you so much for joining in. And before we proceed, I want to play this song. This song was written was this music was by Eric Donaldson. I know many of you may remember it, many of you may not, but I'm gonna play it. It was played Eric Donaldson, you know. Of my birth, this is the land of my birth. This is the land, Jamaica, the land of my birth. This is the land of my birth. This is the land of my birth. This is the Thank you, Valentine. Thank you, Gracia, Gabriel. In the land of my birth. In the land of my birth.
Hey, what's up, my friend Calic and I here. In a moment, I'm going to step into my Ambazonian, land of freedom.
my body, now watch my multiplication. Ambazonian, land of freedom. You shall live in plenty, in our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The most high God be now watchman of this nation.
I just want to take a moment to thank all of you that have taken off your time to watch me, and I take personal gratitude, take personal thanks, and I want to thank all of you this morning. And my name is Fulton Daniel. Before I proceed, I want to first of all take a moment to thank these great men and women of these great nations, United States. I want to take a moment to thank the President of the United States. I want to take a moment to thank the U.S. U.S. President Donald Trump. I want to thank the U.S. Secretary of State. I want to thank the U.S. Department of Defense. I want to thank U.S. Permanent Representative to the United Nations, Nikki Haley. I want to take a moment to thank this great state. And I want to take a moment to thank the U.S. Congress. I want to take a moment to thank the U.S. Senate. I know I speak last night, and today is to the continuation of what is happening in the Anglophone speaking territory. Right now that I am speaking, there is ongoing military invasion of the Anglophone speaking territory. The Republic of Cameroon has decided deliberately invading the Southern Cameroon. I know I posted those images. You can visualize, see those horrific images coming from the Southern Cameroon territory. And so if you are Southern Cameroon and you're residing elsewhere, I just want to let you understand that, and especially those in Belo, especially those in Anyanjua, and all those areas, especially those around the Bingo Hospital. I know many of you may have had your sick ones, and you are here, maybe here in the United States, or you are elsewhere in Europe, or in South America, or in Asia. You have called someone, as this is in the northwest region of Southern Cameroon, the Anglophone speaking territory. You may have called someone, said, please, because I have done that as well. I have called someone, said, please, could you take my parents to Bingo Hospital? So Bingo Hospital is a private hospital, and it is a private hospital that had derived, I think it was a German construction or German investment or Germans help through the Baptist church. And if you are the Baptist religions or your Baptist affiliated or Baptist church religion, and you must have known about Bingo Hospital. So the people of Bingo Hospital that I am speaking here at this moment, at this time, there is ongoing shooting that is going on, carried on by the Republic of Cameroon. A hospital should be the safest place that military should avoid at all costs. But yet, as I'm speaking, the Bingo Hospital are being going under military invasion by the Republic of Cameroon. It is not only sad because what the military does, when it asks the Republic of Cameroon authorized hospital to release the names of those who are being stationed for treatment. If someone was wounded and that particular person is in a hospital, and it should be considered a safe place. But instead, the Republic of Cameroon, on with its soldier, are going in asking those wounded individuals and picking them up from the hospital that should have been the safest place that you should enter. You can go in and feel safe. But instead, the Republic of Cameroon are going around and picking those wounded and they are in the hospital that should have been the safest place. But instead, are slaughtering them and thrown them in the forest. That is what the Republic of Cameroon is doing at this moment, at this particular time that I am speaking here in this great nation, in this great state of Texas. I mean, it's very, very regrettable that you can imagine a government. I understand that the government is irresponsible, a government of dictatorship, a government of evil, a government of nuisance, a government that has lacked credibility, a government that lacked responsibility to take its initiative. And I can imagine that in Bingo Hospital, the military wing are going around asking for those wounded and picking those wounded. Imagine that someone has been wounded. He is like equally like a patient and is should be closely monitored. It should have access to medical. All of us in this world are bound by the Geneva Convention, by the treatment of wounded, whatever, whether it's a civilian or a military, whatever, we are bound by this convention and we must observe this convention. But the Republic of Cameroon is not an observer of this convention. And because of that, they're going in and pick up patients that have been wounded and slaughtering them and throw them in the forest. That is what is going on in the Anglophone speaking territory. And one will ask ourselves, is the Republic of Cameroon has any relationship with the Anglophone speaking? Of course, the international community remains silent. It seems nothing is happening. And even though you post it, it doesn't matter to international community. It doesn't matter to the world, so long as it doesn't have to do with the European descent. Is that the environment that we are creating the future for the society? If we agree that United Nations office here in the United States is taking responsibility, that it is the protectorate of the world community, then there should not be bias and exceptional differences or indifference towards another set of people of different world, of a different environment. But that is what is happening here. And that is why the United Nations has failed. And the brutal dictatorship are using the frame of words that were being stated by the United Nations scribe. Remember, before the Republic of Cameroon invading and trampling over the citizens of Southern Cameroon, it was a phrase used by the Central African Regional Representative of the United Nations, Francois Lefort. And that is the person that was appointed by the United Nations office here in the United States. And Francois Lefort is the regional representative of Central African Regional Representative. And so his frame of words describing the Southern Cameroon has been the object of word used by the Republic of Cameroon. First of all, the United Nations scribe did not, first of all, understand the meaning or the political history of the Southern Cameroon or the Anglophone speaking. And so the Anglophone speaking have the right to question their legitimacy and their existence with the relationship to the Republic of Cameroon. And that is what the citizens were simply asking. The relationship need to be re-evaluated. And the Republic of Cameroon began the genocide based on the phrase of Francois Lefort, who is the appointed representative of Central African region by the United Nations office here, Antonio Guterres. And yet, despite this ongoing brutal murder and genocide carried on by the Republic of Cameroon, the world community remains silent. And that is why, as I'm speaking, the hospital in Belo, the hospital in Belo are witnessing extra murdering or slaughtering of citizens by the Southern Cameroon, by the Republic of Cameroon, ongoing brutality. Imagine a mother with his entire family, blocked, the home was sealed off, and they were burnt all alive. That is what is happening now live in Belo by the Republic of Cameroon military wing. And yet the world doesn't seem to concern about it. And the various embassy in the Republic of Cameroon, because Southern Cameroon doesn't have an embassy, and so no one is able to come to defense. So all the embassy that is all in the Republic of Cameroon are in alliance with the Republic of Cameroon over the Southern Cameroon, despite the fact that they are two separate nations, two separate identity. The Anglophone speaking, their independence was granted in 1961, and the Republic of Cameroon independence was granted in 1960. The various embassies are all in the Republic of Cameroon. There is no single embassy or an attaché in the Southern Cameroon territory. That is why they are bound to support the Republic of Cameroon, despite the fact that the military wing are ongoing murdering the citizens of Southern Cameroon. And it doesn't occur that the world needs to stand against humanity. And that is why I am speaking here from these great nations. As you may be watching, it is very, very regrettable that the world community, imagine it was a single soul that was murdered in Europe. It would have been a different issue. It would have been a crisis. It would have been the entire world would have a worldwide condemnation. There would have been worldwide condemnations. The world community would have stepped up immediately and rapidly and offer the major and the advanced military weapons available in this international world community. But now that is happening in the Anglophone territory, it doesn't matter to the world to take a closer look. It doesn't matter to the world to even figure out what is going on. As I'm speaking here, I know it doesn't matter to the world. It doesn't. That they need to step up and ask what is going on. But United Nations is saying that they are watching. And what is the parameter of watching? You figure it out. That's what is going on here in this great nation, this great state. You can imagine that a mother and the children are being burned down alive. As I'm speaking, the indigenous, the villages, they are managing to look at what alternative. They have to break the bridge just to create a vacuum, and they are looking for alternative and murdering the citizens, burning their home. It is not something that began today. It is ongoing process. It is ongoing genocide that is happening now in the Anglophone speaking territory. And yet we have British ambassador that is in the Republic of Cameroon. And it is because of the Southern Cameroon that we have a relationship with the Commonwealth of Nations. And it is because of the British Southern Cameroon that the Republic of Cameroon is part of the British Commonwealth of Nations. And the British World Commonwealth of Nations in Britain remains silent. And if it was Britain, the rest of the world would have issued a worldwide condemnation. But in this case, the worldwide condemnation remains silent. Despite the fact that even the major media in BBC, which is in Britain, report about the ongoing crisis. It doesn't occur that the British Parliament, even if the United States remain ignorant because they were not the colonial territory of Southern Cameroon, but the United States is doing every effort United States is doing every effort. But unfortunately, that effort is not enough. That effort is not enough. Why is this? Why is this? The Southern Cameroon have a legitimate right to their self-determinations. The Southern Cameroon have their right to their freedom. The Southern Cameroon have the right to choose whatever is their future destiny. But it hasn't occurred to the world community that they need to take a second look, and they need to do this as a matter of urgency, and that they need to promptly act immediately. The people of Fundong. Fundong is in Southern Cameroon in the northwest region. As I'm speaking, the people of Fundong is now living in the forest. And why they are in the forest? Because they live in a grassland area. But in a grassland area, there's no open tree. Because there's no open tree, and so the people has limited means of hidden environment. And because of that, because it is a grassland area, and the trees are very short and the forests are very limited, and so it is easy for the helicopter being bombarded, and so the ongoing accountability of those being shot and murdered by helicopter is enormous, and no one is able to know the exact number, because depending on the location, if there was even a survivor in that location. As I'm speaking here live in the great state of Texas, it is absolutely a nightmare that in Fundong, the people have all escaped. They escaped into the forest. But unfortunately, they have very limited forest that could even shield them and provide a safety environment. While the Republic of Cameroon is using all available military helicopters donated by the French government. And yet the French government remains silent. It doesn't occur to them that they need to hold their genocide, that they are orchestrated and proceed by the Republic of Cameroon. Remember, the Anglophone speaking territory was not part of the Republic of Cameroon. The fact that they choose to cohabiting relationship with the Republic of Cameroon has not given the Republic of Cameroon a mandate over the sovereignty of Southern Cameroon. And so the French government has donated military helicopter to use by the Republic of Cameroon and carry on murdering and genocide in the Anglophone speaking territory. And yet it doesn't occur because the world remains silent. It doesn't occur to the world that they need to step up effort. Of course, because France is the key member of the United Nations. As France is a key member of the United Nations, France is the veto power of the United Nations. France is every aspect of the United Nations. And I am very sad that Britain remains silent. The Queen of England remains silent. The Commonwealth of Nations remains silent. The British Embassy in Yaoundé remains silent. And one asks, because the Republic of Cameroon has every right to carry on all the genocide in the Anglophone speaking territory. And so they have no way to go except you and I stand and verbalize over here in the social media. I mean, if this was a single individual that was done, as I just opened my voice and verbalized about it, the various military wing, the best military wing, would have been there and fight and find out exactly what is going on. That is why, even though we speak here, the world community remains silent. They place a cotton ball in their ear and they don't listen to what is happening. That is the world we live in. That is the environment we live in. Imagine you have someone that has been in power for 36 years. He's 85 years. He lacks mental ability to even make sound, reasonable judgment. He's guided by prisoners. He's guided by ex-convicts. His advisory are led by ex-convict prisoners. And that is why you have them as Minister of Territorial Administration. Those are the ex-convicts that are guided an 85 years old, mentally challenged, deranged, can't even recall his child's name, his daughter's name, his wife's name, and they call him is the president. The world community are silent. They honor him and they can't question his judgment. I can very be frustrated, just like many of you watching. It is sad that people are using military to slaughter people that are of different. The fact that they are Southern Cameroon does not give the Republic of Cameroon over the sovereignty, but because they're being led by ex-convicts, prisoners. That's the government that lack responsibility, lack accountability. And the world community are in Yaoundé. They remain silent because France has a veto power, and Britain is also ignorant about what is happening. Britain has a veto power, and so if all of them would have, you could not imagine that even though all these crises are going on, it hasn't occurred to the British embassy. At least U.S. ambassador, U.S. permanent representative to the United Nations has made an effort, even verbalized that she has intention. But although no action has been taken, but at least the King of England or the Queen of England, the British Prime Minister would have done something through his embassy, just a single phone call from Theresa May to United Nations office here. It could make a difference for the Anglophone speaking territory. But yet, it doesn't matter to them. They don't care. Of course, they could be murderers. That's the world we live in. That's the environment we are creating for the future generation. That you are by yourself and you are lonely, and I don't care who you are. So long as you are not of those of the progressive wing, what can you do? Speak about it, talk about it. But the difference is that if this was something that happened within the European Union, it would have used all the best and advanced military wing and quell it down. But since it is the Anglophone territory, who cares about it? Does anyone care? Of course, nobody cares. Should be murdered. And another question arises is, what about the African Union? What have they done? Of course, it's still Africa is still a crumble of certain evil individuals that has come into power. The African Union, and they remain silent. It doesn't occur to them that they need to step up their effort and say, oh, what is going on in this West African territory, the Anglophone speaking territory? Does this occur that the African Union can call an immediate session with irrespective? Paul Biya is not a permanent member of the African Union. He has not voted, and it is their duty to override whatever decision and send an investigator right now and find out exactly. Even if the European Union failed to intervene, African Union ought to be able to protect itself. They ought not to depend. It's a continent, and that continent should be able to have an advanced and rapid force to be able to investigate crisis that is happening in any other country without any fear of favor. And how can they react? If you have a country like Nigeria, and when the citizens of this, and despite the ongoing relationship that existed between the Anglophone speaking and Nigeria prior to and after independence, and the citizens that are advocating for a change, and Nigerian government will allow them to be picked up by the Republic of Cameroon, and it doesn't occur to them because you have people that are 80 years of age and are still ruling, and their mental is lack of functioning. Their brain is miswired. People like Buhari, 80-something years. What is he doing there? That is the African continent. And you would call and say, oh, Nigeria is a damn nation. Of course, why were this? Even the acting member of the cabinet of Southern Cameroon arrested. They were arrested in Nigeria. And guess who was present? The United Nations Deputy Secretary General, Aminan, who is here in the United States. She was physically present when the Anglophone cabinet was adopted. And it doesn't occur that the world community need to take a second look. It's something that we can address. It's something that we can address. As the crisis erupted in Southern Cameroon, what the French government did, the French government provided all military weapons to the Republic of Cameroon. They sent drones to look where the Southern Cameroon citizens are residing so that they should be able to detect and provide military helicopter to bomb the Southern Cameroon. That is what the French government did. That is what the French government did. What relationship does French have with the Southern Cameroon? The people of Southern Cameroon have the right to self-determination. La Republic has no legal authority to arrest an Anglophone and taking them to Yaoundé. Yaoundé is not part of Southern Cameroon. The people have the right to decide their future destiny. And the French government has no legal right over the people of Southern Cameroon. That is why the French were able to provide drums through the ambassador to use by the military against the Southern Cameroon. Of course, it doesn't occur to the British government to issue a worldwide condemnation and send a more aggressive and figure out what is the problem. Instead, it's United States ambassador. It's United States ambassador that is going there to investigate. British embassy is just like a female. It doesn't remain silent and wait for the husband to rise from his bed. That is the British embassy. Of course, it's been, I don't mean to be very recalcitrant. It is very regretful that if British embassy will remain silent on the ongoing murdering and genocide in the Anglophone speaking territory. British embassy, it doesn't occur to them, they need to raise an alarm. It doesn't occur that the British embassy need to raise an alarm and that they need to do something about it. It's United States ambassador even making an effort. Why the British ambassador remain in the closet? British ambassador remain in a closet and can't even open his voice. The murder continue. That is why you see those images that I posted on my Facebook. That is ongoing genocide, including the hospital. And picking individuals, not only in a particular hospital, all the entire hospital in Southern Cameroon. The Republic of Cameroon are sending police to going around and find out those wounded in the hospital and picking them up and shot them live. That is the most cruel system that you can ever see in the entire world. That a government is sending police officers going into the hospital and picking individuals that they shot or wounded and picking them and taking them and shot them and send the cops. That is the most cruel thing that one can ever envisage in the entire world. That is the most cruel act. Hospitals should be the most safest place that one can seek a refuge and be able to feel safety. But unfortunately, it is not. That is what is happening. That is what is happening. Going into hospitals, picking up patients that they have been wounded and shot them alive and trash the body. Yes, that is the world we live in. And we have the United Nations office here in the United States. And we have another branch they call World Health Organization, which is the branch of the United Nations. The world remains silent. The world remains silent. But I want to let the people of Belo, that we stand with you. I want to let the people of Belo that we stand with you. I want to let the people of Fundong that we stand with you. I want to let the people of Fundong that we stand with you. I want to let the people of Anyanjua that we stand with you. I want to let the people of Anyanjua that we stand with you. And we will continue to speak up. And we will continue to speak up. And we will stand with you till where we're going to arrive. It doesn't matter where our journey is going to take us to. But we are together. We are together. The people of Belo, the people of Anyanjua, the people of Fundong, and the entire community of the people of Mbingo hospitals. That we are together. We will stand with you together. I want to take a moment to thank all of you that were watching, and I will continue later. Have a wonderful day, the rest of your day.